As far as the rails versus trails argument, do you think it needs to be an either-or sort of decision-making process? Do we need to pave over the railroad tracks to have a trail, or are there alternatives should be considered?
I think alternatives should be considered, but that also is not in the Harbor District's purview.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it's not for us to say.
So something else that's not necessarily within the Harbor District's jurisdiction is the balloon track. But obviously, since the Arcata Marsh is dedicated conservation space on the north end of the bay, the wildlife refuge on the south end of the bay, there's only so much space in the middle to do maritime-related commercial industrial activities. Do you think the Harbor District should be taking a stance, even just in a lobbying sort of perspective, on what really should be happening within the balloon track? Is a big box mall the best use of that shoreline space?
No, I don't think that's the district's purview.
Mm-hmm. As far as the district's relationship with the city of Eureka, I understand the district owes city of Eureka topping $1 million. Now, do you think it should be a priority for that to be repaid, considering that Eureka is, facing some budgetary problems of its own?
I was not aware that we owed Eureka that much until just recently myself. Mm-hmm. So that was a surprise to me. I think definitely paying debts is important. I also know, as you mentioned, that the district itself is running in the red. So I guess my answer to that is I simply don't know because I don't know all the details.
Mm-hmm. Now, as far as what the district could be doing in the future in terms of economic development, people like to talk about aquaculture and so forth, mm-hmm. But of course there have been some long-term issues in the bay with the levels of dioxin. Do you think working more with local educational institutions like HSU and so forth to better study how to clean that up, is that something you think the district should be doing to fulfilling its conservation mission?
Boy, the dioxin's a hard one. Aquaculture, I think, could be expanded. There are certainly issues associated with it that need to be looked at and addressed. The dioxin was not created by the oyster farmers. It's a remnant, I think, mostly of the lumber days. And the bay is not impaired enough to get federal funds to clean it up. And yet there are definitely hot spots that should be cleaned up. And I think if the district could work with whatever powers there are to help make that happen, that would be a very useful, beneficial thing to everybody. Mm-hmm. I have not explored that enough to know who those powers would be, but yeah, that is something that I think the district could do.
As far as the politics of the whole thing, obviously the district used to fly a little bit lower in the radar of the local political scene, but it's gotten a bit more heated in the last few years and a bit more politicized and a lot more campaign money flowing in. Do you think the district's business has been detracted from its focus on infrastructure with some politicization?
Phrase that again, or say that again?
Do you think the district's become too politicized, too much of a political football between the political parties and so forth, as far as who they feel is running it and on whose behalf? And do you feel some of the larger amounts of campaign money flowing in have unduly influenced its decisions?
No. I think it's one thing that I do like, and I guess politics plays into it, but one of the complaints about the district in the past is that it has been very closed. And there are some areas where that is starting to change, and I think that's a very good thing. And of course, with opening things up, you're going to have every kind of viewpoint brought up. Mm-hmm. there's going to be conflict, there's going to be disagreement, but I think getting more people involved and more ideas on the table is a good thing. And so I guess I really don't see that the political thing is influencing, is changing the direction in particular.
Mm-hmm. Well, how do you intend to run your campaign, and what sort of backing have you seen so far?
I'm basically running it, I'm supporting local businesses that are here and feeling that the district needs to be supporting them. Expressing my concerns about putting more effort into the Redwood Marine Terminal plan until there's evidence that it's something we should be pursuing. And working a lot, making sure that the fishermen have what they need. And we keep hearing that the fishing fleet is diminished, which it is, but it's still a huge business here. It brings in many, many millions of dollars every year.
Mm-hmm.
So I think one thing the district can be doing is working better with other agencies, including the city. So that we don't have influence over the city, but I think there has sometimes been an antagonistic relationship between the district and different entities, and working that out would be beneficial to everybody. There's nothing in the prosperity plan on which the Headwaters grants are supposed to be based promoting major shipping. That's not something that any of the studies that have been done have said this is what Humboldt Bay should be focusing on. Headwaters Forest has donated some money, but I thought it was not the best use of it.
I see. And Eureka City Redevelopment Fund, I understand there is quite a pot of money there. Obviously, we haven't seen a whole lot of activity as far as those empty boardwalk spaces within the city limits. As part of developing that more cooperative relationship, would you like to see a bit more tapping into those redevelopment funds?
Well, again, the city has its money, and the district, and the city also has its jurisdiction.
Sure.
Quite separate from the Harbor District. But in areas where we can cooperate, I would definitely support that entirely.
And just last question, what else would you like to bring to the table? What haven't we mentioned here today, as far as what you'd like to do if you were elected to change the course of the district?
Well, changing the course is, I don't know that we really have a course at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I like the fact that more of the public is being engaged in a lot of activities, a lot of decision making. I like that openness, and I would work to encourage that, to keep it going. And I think, if we have a focus, let's look at more small things, rather than one great big plan, for this master dock that may or may not happen. Look at the resources we have, the people we have, and bringing in other businesses that would be compatible with us, for sure. I think that there have been people that have expressed interest in coming here, and for one reason or another decided not to. I have no clue what those reasons are, nor should I really be somebody who knows those reasons. Some of these discussions are private. But whatever we can do to make what we have more attractive to other people, I think would be good. There are some marine-dependent industries that are blossoming. Maybe we could sweeten the pie a bit for them.